So next, think about how can people get it at a glance, get it very quickly. We did the campaign for Fly Salem when air service was brought to Salem. And our focus for doing this campaign was number one, of course, create a visual identity that was very strong. But number two, get really focused about why should people care about flying out of Salem. We'd already made the decision with the people who organized it to focus on business people because they were the most likely to use this particular service and use it frequently and to see the value in it. So we created, this was a flyer that was inserted in the newspaper, into multiple newsletters, chambers of commerce, was handed out all over, with the intent being, let's get the whole story on one piece that people can take away with them and take home, rather than spreading out ads or whatever. So of course we focused on a lot of the benefits, shave your drive time, park time, wait time. Did anybody fly out of Salem when they had air service here? It was so great. It was just wonderful. It was like, oh, thank you. And of course it's not here, and it wasn't this campaign's fault, it was the gas prices went up and Delta pulled out all the small ones. But the other piece was on the back, there's a lot of very specific information at a glance. So reinforcing the benefits again, flights daily, free parking, no crowds, easy in and out. Doesn't that sound great instead of going to the airport the normal way? And then of course a little more detail, but the other thing we did too was at a glance, there's a map. So if you live within this particular region, you should consider flying out of Salem rather than Portland or Eugene. And how do you find the darn airport? It's hard to find. So we also put a map for that. So everything was in one place, to the point. This campaign was extremely successful. They reached their ridership goals almost right away. Unfortunately, Delta decided that after they said 80% was good, and I think these guys were like at 83% ridership, it had to be 95 for them to keep it in town. So, and that was gas prices. But simple, to the point, put something in somebody's hands, tell them the story in their terms, why should they care? Another piece, tell me a story. Tell me about what this product's about. Give me something to think about that's not just like everybody else. We created an updated box for Willamette Valley Fruit Company. This was the old box against who their competition was in the grocery store. So full color box, pretty picture of a pie, but you know, they all look like that. So Willamette Valley Fruit had gone with this kind of natural looking box, but you know, not very appealing. So we said, there's something here because this is a company that makes fabulous pies. Has anybody had them? You can find them in Roth's. They're amazing. They're all natural. There's no fillers. You cook them, you buy them raw, frozen. Essentially, you cook them so that they're cooked fresh the first time. They're wonderful. So they're made here in Salem. The company's run by some farmers. They're handmade pies. There's all these great things to talk about how these pies are made that aren't the Marie Callender's or the Sara Lee's. So differentiate, tell the story. So we created a box and a logo. Willamette Valley Fruit Company, looking very handcrafted. They wanted to make sure they had that feeling of being farmer market style as opposed to grocery style. They're sold in the grocery store. But we also created what we call a talking box. Of course, a small company doesn't have a high level of dollars to spend on advertising. So the point of choice, the place where people are going to make the decision to purchase the product, is in the store. They're going to go by and they're going to be thinking, dessert, frozen section. Oh, pie boxes. There's Marie Callender's, there's Sara Lee. There's this brown one. That looks more natural. And so we wanted to create and continue that whole feeling and that story all the way through. So the box actually was, we separated out the two varieties into oven-free and ready-to-bake, which they had both in the same box before. So at a glance you could tell oven-free is the cream pies, you just defrost them. And then the ready-to-bake, you actually have to bake them. But there's a whole lot of story. Share a pie with a friend, you know, call it yours, no one will know the difference. On the side, so easy to defrost and serve. You'll love the authentic farm fresh taste of our pies. One slice won't be enough. Even the ingredients were written as a story, including, you know, here's how you need to cook it. You're supposed to let it sit for an hour, but we know it's going to smell so good. You may want to eat it sooner. It'll be runny, but it'll still be yummy. So the story was carried through. On the back is a story about the ladies who are making the pies. There's ladies that hand make these pies every day. They're incredible. So it's just been hugely successful for them, but it's a story. This company had a great story to tell that they were just trying to be like everybody else. So what could you do to create that story that people are going to go, really? Homemade pies, handmade, no kidding, no fillers. Wow, that's great. So what do people want and how are they going to get that?